Hi everyone, it's SportsReplays here. Yeah, very disappointing week to be honest. There's a few things that have just gone wrong. I don't know if I should do a video, but I'm going to. It's just garbage, honestly. It's just, I really thought we'd be going up in the ranks. I was like just about in the top 10,000 a few rounds ago. Now I'm blowing out to top 20,000. It's just ridiculous. And I thought I made some good decisions, but things just haven't gone my way the last few weeks with this constant injuries. It's just a joke. Players that, semi-pods just haven't gone right. There have been a few good things that have gone my way a little bit, but most of it's just been just terrible. There's too many injuries. So, look, round rank of 66,000 is just shocking. I'm not going to go into too much more detail, but now we've got Sean Darcy, who was injured. I'm not too sure how long he's going to be out for. Look, I didn't trade Oliver because I had to trade out LDU, and it's just shit like that, all because of this steal trade at the start of the season, and all because of Ridley. Then Ridley gets his two best scores of the season back-to-back rounds as soon as I'm trading him out, which is just even more frustrating. We start off with Jordan Dawson, 120. Pretty happy with that. His standard game, really. Phenomenal season from him. And he's probably been one of my best starting selections probably ever, to be honest. It's just, at least for premiums. I've got one right. Tom Stewart, 138. Probably another saving this round a little bit. And 138, happy with that. Above his season average. Even though Geelong lost, he was probably their best player. Jake Sinclair, 71. Disappointing from Sinclair, or really from St Kilda as well. Yeah, he's just a bit of a roller coaster pick. Jake Sinclair had was excellent last week, but this week it was disappointing. I mean, hopefully the average is a little bit better. He's got the bye this week, so we'll give him a bit of a break, and hopefully he'll steamroll sides or do well in the coming weeks. Sheasel, 79, a little disappointing, I guess, from Sheasel, below his season average, but look, it's his first year, and I'm worried he might die off a little bit in the later half of the season, and that's where we may need to look to do a trade if we still have trades left, and at least have money to be able to complete a full side, which I've got concerns that I might not. But I do have a few players that might help me get over the line in regards to that. Onto Will Day, 74. Look, another average, mediocre score, and look, this has been a failed selection, to be honest, since I traded him in. And I should have gone with his teammate Sicily, because he's just gone on fire. Gets a 170, although he did get suspended though, so it's a little bit, a double-edged sword. It's only for one round, but look, even though Hawthorn won, Day only got 74, and a bit... Yeah, maybe it was a bit of a trap. I'm not too sure. With Day, he's still fairly young. It's just, you'll think when Hawthorn playing a bit better, he'll at least get, at least a 90. But look, it's been a frustrating pick. He may be one of the last selections out of my side, but I'm just going to have to hold on to him because I've got other issues in my side. Willie Atkins, very disappointing, got subbed, and now this is probably arguably more frustrating than Darcy getting injured, to be honest. Oh man, it's just his job security looks low now after Saturday night's performance. It's just, I don't need him for this round. I need him for the buys too. The whole point of bringing him in. He's made 100k, and his cash is going to drop down, and 28 is just unacceptable. I don't care. I mean, I can maybe accept a 50 or 60, which would be frustrating itself, but 28, I mean, come on. Shit like this just pisses me off. I mean, look, I'm not expecting him to get, 100 every week, but 28, I mean, come on. And he gets subbed off. He might be gone next week. Onto the bench. Shinkoto didn't play. I don't even think he was an emergency. And this is where we've got huge concerns. I'm not too sure if he gets another game for the season. I mean, it was looking good a few weeks ago. Played a couple of games, but has one poor game and gets dropped. See you later. So he's probably going to have to go if there's another defensive rookie on field on the bubble. We'll probably have to pick him up, but he has to go. Constable's been playing well in the seconds. I mean, Gold Coast's VFL side is doing pretty well. So, I don't know, not too much sure what Constable can do. There's not much more he can do to get into the side. So, look, hopefully someone at Gold Coast their selection team could just bring him in the ones, because we need him. We need him on the field, particularly with the buys, particularly the round 14, 15 buys. We need him. I just hope he gets selected, plus for the cash gen as well. So that's my defence rant over. Pretty disappointing with the bottom 4 players here. Really cost me this round, particularly Adkins. I can't have a player in 28, particularly at this part of the season now. That's just unacceptable. Bontempelli, 124. I was tossing up between him or Merritt as a captaincy option. Look, I probably should have went with Stewart as a VC option, considering they're playing GWS. But I didn't think of that option. I chose Marshall instead. We'll get to him later. Bontempelli only lost 14 points there, so not a huge deal. That wasn't the reason why I did poor this week, to be honest. Me choosing the captaincy wasn't the issue. Would I like the extra 14 points? Yes, but that's not the reason why I went significantly down the rankings this week. That's not the issue. Where we were at 115. Adelaide played alright. Had an enormous game, but similar to Dawson, it was an even contribution with the Adelaide team today. So look, 115, we'll take that. That's slightly above his season average. Merritt, 110, a little disappointing, to be honest. I thought he was going to get, that 140 score or 130, considering playing West Coast. I mean, we got the 50 points win. We won. That wasn't the concern. It was just bit more even contribution, but Redmond and Ridley just killed it. West Coast just keep kicking the ball to them. They just destroyed West Coast there in the back half. I mean, West Coast had similar amount of inside 50s as Essendon, but the execution and just class just wasn't there in the forward line. They've only got one forward at the moment, West Coast, and that's Oscar Allen, who's doing very good in the bottom side. So look, Merritt 110. I mean, on any other week I wouldn't be as fussed about it. You're bringing him in, and you expect him to get at least that 130 score against the bottom side. I mean, we got almost 10 goal win, which we were expecting, but I mean, look, at least it was a good team effort, and that's what you want. But look, a little frustrating, but that's not the huge concern with this side. Noah Anderson, 92, a little disappointing considering a Gold Coast one. Bringing him in, since I brought him in, he's been a bit disappointing. And look, I should have brought his team out, Rao in. He's performing well now, Matt Rao. He's in form after a slow start to the season. He's just dominated, and he's probably outscored Anderson about probably 120 in the last few weeks since I brought him in. So probably even more than that. It's just little things like that just annoy me. And if you brought Rao as a pod, you're laughing. And it's just I mean, 92 is okay, but for the price that I paid for him. And look, he's going to cover me for the buys, which is sort of why hopefully I can gain an advantage during some of those round 14, 15 buys. We'll look to try to catch up and get back in the top 10k again. Well, that's the ideal goal. I'm not too sure if I'm going to beat my season ranking of last year now. I was on track. I was ahead of what I was last year, but that's just off the rails. And Tom Green, 95, just a step below average score from him, even though GWS won. It was his teammate Toby Green who really was the match winner in the end. It was probably the best player on the ground, to be honest. Yeah, he was. So, look, everyone's got Tom Green, so I'm not going to go too much into depth with that. We'll put 102 above his season average. Happy with his performance. Finally get to 100. I think that's the first time this season he's got 100. Happy with him. So he's holding my sight at the moment. He's probably got one of the last, it feels like remove out of my side. But he might even have to hold on to probably the last few trades I do, to be honest. He might even stay my side of things, continue to go crap for me. Humphrey, outstanding. Got the match winner in the end, and he's just probably been the saviour in the last couple of weeks, to be honest. It's an excellent decision to bring him in, and it's one of those trade-ins that have actually paid off. So I don't think my trade-ins have been particularly bad, other than probably LDU. He did have one good week. The injuries just seem to keep coming. But look, some of the rookies, and so with Johnson, he sort of saved my round to being a complete, even more disaster than what it already was. So it was a bit above average performance, a bit above expectation from Johnson, and 301. So look, that makes the top 8 tighter after a few upsets. So Johnson 72. Hope he keeps his spot now after that good performance. That would help during the buys because he has this week off, but during the tougher weeks with 14 to 15, that's when I really need him. Oliver didn't play. Hopefully he can play during the buys. Got big concerns. Melbourne weren't really specific in terms of the injury time frame. I'm hoping he plays soon. That I can get an advantage of those players who got rid of him, which, look, in my opinion, if it's going to help out, I reckon, if there's a bunch of other injuries, other premiums, and if you get rid of him, you might have run out of trades, and that's what I'm worried about. I reckon it's more of a strategic move later on when we've got Supercoach finals, which I might even be in any at all the way that I'm playing at the moment, or the way that I'm going. So, look, hopefully that could be a strategic move. I reckon it might be I wouldn't say silly move, it's just more of a short-term move. I wish Melbourne were more specific with the weeks off with Oliver. And that is one of the key players, and that's another reason why they lost. I reckon if Oliver played, they might have won Melbourne, because they're still close. They only just lost. Sharp didn't play. I don't think he's going to get a game for the rest of the season unless there's a few more injuries. That's probably going to be a failed trading. Still got some cash from it, but it's not going to be ideal. I mean, he does have a bye this week, but that was probably a failed trading. I probably should have went earlier, maybe perhaps some other rookies, but that's another huge risk itself. Didn't really have too much option there, to be honest, and that's just one of those things that just haven't gone my way this season. And Matt Roberts, he's obviously out, and that's probably either going to be a loophole option by the looks of it. Another failed trading. Marshall, 98 in the rucks. Look, maybe a bit below his season average, but that's not my major concern. And look, St Kilda disappointing. And hopefully performs better for us, Marshall, but everyone's got Marshall, so it's not a huge concern with my side. And Sean Darcy, the biggest concern probably in this team this week. And 39, so I'm not too sure how long he's going to be out for. And since, a lot of people have got English, I lose about 70, 80 points. But, there's been some good teams that have had Darcy. I think one of the person got 2,574 this week when my, what's it called again? One of my opposition, when he won my leagues, got that. And they still, I think, Darcy in their side as well. So, look, he probably could have won the week if Darcy didn't go down, but look, he'd probably be a trade out if it's 3 or 4 weeks. At least this week, Freo does have the bye, so it's not a huge concern for next week in regards to that. I could trade him next week and bring in English, but then do I have the money for that? I think I might, but I'll have to hold on for that to see how many weeks he's out for. And then what's even more frustrating is that Radigalia was injured too, so he was going to use his ruck cover this week since I've got no rucks in. They were in perfect, he can get a 60 or 70, which was what I was expecting, but he was in good form, Radigalia. So look, what do we have to do to see how long he's out for? Otherwise we have no rucks. I have to get one of Sydney's crappy, McAndrew in maybe as well. It's just, there's too many injuries with his side. It's just killed me the last month really with his injuries. If I didn't have any injuries, I'll be much higher in the ranks, probably in the top 10,000 easily, I reckon. It's just everything's just gone wrong for me in the last few weeks, other than maybe there's some of these rookies that have actually performed well, other than Atkins this week, but that's the rucks. Onto the forward line. Dunkley, outstanding score, 146. But unfortunately, his teammates sort of let him down this week. I mean, a third quarter cost Brisbane. They kicked 1 goal 9. You turn that around into 9 goals 1. There's a game that quarter. To be honest, they really should have won. Should have been a lot closer, and probably could have won if they, kicked straighter. Tim Torino, man of the match. Tim Torino, 147. He kicked, I think, 4 goals. Yeah, outstanding game from him. Errol Goulden, 93, a little disappointing. But look, I mean, I'm not going to expect big scores every week. I mean, Sydney were okay. I mean, Carlton just, to be honest, I reckon Carlton are overrated in my opinion. Also, Connor Rosie, 111. Just a standard game from Rosie. Did what he needed to do. Mitchell, 69, just an average score from him. He's still making cash. He's going to be a hold. Hopefully keep his spot. I'm hoping Sam Mitchell doesn't rest him. He may do that. And Jay Van Rulen kicked a nice goal in the last quarter to sort of save He's scoring about 55, so he does go up in cash. I'll probably trade him out for, what's his name, Ford, who's going to be the best rookie to bring in, as he's backed up, two good games in a row. Warlord's another rookie we could bring in, but I probably won't because I've got other issues and he's a bit expensive. So Ford's going to come in. And in terms of the bench, David didn't play. I'm not too sure if he's going to play next week. And Stewart, he only got 16, was a sub, didn't do too much. Not too sure if he keeps his spot. Sort of killed his scoring potential, but that's sort of killed, yeah. So it's not looking really good at all in terms of the bench options at all. I mean, other than Oliver, if he comes back in, I'm just, I'm going to look at that as a strategic strategy, holding Oliver. But if he's out for another 3 or 4 more weeks, he's going to probably have to go, unfortunately. It's just, I wish Melbourne just have a time frame up front. I know early in the year, Tom Stewart was only meant to be out for, a week? Or 3 or 4 weeks, and he was only out for a week. And that sort of derailed my season. I should have just held on to him. But it's just bullshit like that. It's just frustrating. So Van Ruin has to go out and probably get traded out to forward and have that extra 200k. They could have bring in another ruckman for Darcy, but the problem is the Bulldogs English would probably have the bye later on as well. I ideally want to bring maybe him later on. And I was hoping maybe Radically can take the cover for this week, and if Darcy's out for another week, we'll just have to wait and see on that. In terms of Atkins, I'm not too sure if he keeps his spot. So it's going to be interesting with trades this week because you got buys and just players getting injured and everything. So, look, I've got 5 that are going to be playing. Not too sure about Atkins, but 4 definitely should be playing. So 5. We've got 8 there. Not too sure if all of us going to be playing. So you've got 8. So that'd be 13 there. I'm not too sure for Radically. So I would have plus you got 4. So 17 definitely playing. Still obviously not playing. Davies a 50-50. I'm not too sure if Oliver's going to be in. If Oliver's in, that'd be great. I'll have 9 midfielders on field, which is what I really need this round. Otherwise, I'm going to have to make some trades. And if Atkins is not playing, I really hope Constable does. So, look, what I'm probably Van Ruins. The problem is Melbourne. It's tough. I ideally want to get rid of Van Ruin, but I'll probably have to get rid of him during Melbourne's bye. If everything's going perfectly, but I'll probably have to actually hold Van Ruin. And maybe get rid of Davey if he's not selected. Otherwise, I'll have to bring in 4 anyway if he's selected. Because North Melbourne, I don't think North Melbourne's got to buy another don't, so he has to be playing. They're playing us, so we'll probably have to get rid of Davey. If Davey's not playing, that's an obvious trade, I reckon. He's just sort of been failed at peak at the end. He had a few alright games, but just that 7 sort of killed his scoring. So, look, Davey for forward at the moment. In terms of the ruck forward, maybe I might have to bring in that Sydney ruckman maybe, but Geelong have got their bye next week. That's probably not going to see if we can work that out as well. Yeah, it's going to be a tough week, tough decisions to make this week. I might not be able to do a video this week, but it's going to be tough with trades. It's going to be difficult. Yeah, so disappointing week. I'm just not too sure now with my team. It's just injuries, players underperforming who I bring in. Premiums just aren't living up to their hype and just everything. I think I've got too many rookies that I really need to get off the field as well compared to a few other sides. It doesn't help when you have Oliver on the bench. All because of this LDU, Steele, Stewart early in the year as well. Hopper, but everyone has Hopper. And there's probably a few other injuries as well. Now probably Darcy. So we'll just have to sort that out. And hopefully at least, Darcy won't be playing, but hopefully Oliver's in this week because that might help me get to 21. And hopefully Atkins don't lose his spot. But hopefully you did better than me. You probably did. Not my worst score ever, but have done a lot better in the past.